Today's episode of Safety Update, we're going to go back to the basics. Hello and welcome to a Safety Update with Sam Watts. I am Sam Watts. If we haven't met yet, why not? Why haven't you stopped in my office? Come on in. I'm a nice guy. But I am the safety supervisor for the MyBoard companies and everything that goes on with them. And so if you are a driver, you have been receiving these for quite some time. But I got to tell you guys, we got to be on our best behavior now. That's why I'm wearing a collared shirt, because I am now sending this out to the office people that work at MyBoard, just so they understand what we're talking about. And you know, they've got questions too that I answer a lot of the times. It's not just you guys. You can't be jealous, okay? They have questions too. I have answers. That's how it goes. It's a burden I have to bear. Anyways, so today's video is going to be a tad bit different. If you know, last week's video was a little bit different as well. I don't think I've received more comments on a video than I did on last week's video with the early morning wake-up call one. And I just want to reiterate, okay, that I don't mind talking to you guys, especially during business hours. That's cool. That's what I'm here for. It's the late hours or the early morning hours that don't really have anything to do with safety. That's when, you know, things get a little grumpy, I should say. Maybe, I don't know, not grumpy, but you know, whatever. So feel free to come in, talk to me, okay? That's what I'm there for. Anyway, so like I said in the intro here, we're gonna go back to the basics, because I've gotten a lot of questions from drivers and from the office staff, just kind of like, not what is safety, but why should we follow some of the procedures that we do? And it's a very valid question. A lot of times when it comes to safety stuff, we really don't see the effects of our decisions or the consequences of our decisions quickly. Or, you know, to be perfectly honest with you, sometimes we never see the consequences of our decisions. It's kind of one of those interesting little areas in the trucking world. You know, if you don't book a load for a driver, you see that the driver is sitting, you know, they're not moving. But if a driver does something that goes against the safety protocol, they might not ever get caught. And I don't say that to brag or say like, hey, let's try this. If they do get caught, it could be pretty bad, okay, for everybody involved. And so, you know, in talking with some of you and hearing some questions, I just kind of wanted to reiterate why I'm here, okay? It's not just to be the eye candy of 11th Street, although I know some of you have voted, and thank you. That's very humbling. But that's we're getting off on a tangent now. No, I am here to make sure that this company is safe and follows compliance, and that we stay out of trouble. Because if we don't follow compliance and we get into trouble, it snowballs really quickly. Let's just put it that way. And so one of the reasons, there's kind of two reasons why we want to follow safety protocol. One of the reasons is because it gets expensive if we don't, okay? We have had quite a few issues with bumpers in the last couple weeks. A lot of guys, you know, I'm just telling you guys right now, okay? Listen up here. If you go to an ABC Supply distribution center or store, whatever, be very careful. Okay, they have random pallets sitting out that make absolutely no sense, and they somehow always get hung up on our bumpers. It's really funny. In fact, I shouldn't say it's not funny, but we had a brand new ABC Supply open in Freeport, Illinois. I live just south of Freeport, and I saw it go up. And like literally before the doors even opened, I drove past it, and they had random pallets sitting out in the yard. I'm like, is this a company policy? Is this what they do? Like they just randomly put shingles everywhere where the trucks are supposed to be? It might be. I don't know. I haven't seen their policy. But anyways, if you're going to an ABC Supply, be very careful, because if you rip a bumper off, as you probably saw in Zach James and Bill's video, if you rip a bumper off, it's $4,000 to $5,000 to put that thing back on. Now, we're working on solutions to make it a little bit cheaper, but still, we work in a notoriously low profit industry, okay? There's a ton of overhead when it comes to trucking, and because of that, our profit margins are very slim, to the point of, if we rip a bumper off at an ABC Supply, there goes all the profit for that load, and most likely for other loads as well. I mean, it just wipes us out. So one of the reasons we promote a safety culture is to save money, to make sure that we're not spending needlessly on stuff. And that goes for you guys too. Like, I say, drive the speed limit. You know, don't be around crazy drivers. Don't do anything like that, because in the long run, that just hurts you as a driver. Like, if you're speeding, if you're a habitual speeder, you're gonna get caught, okay? And then you have to pay a fine. You have to pay money that you don't really need to spend. And if you're around other vehicles that are going crazy and you just want to give them a piece of your mind, then you run the risk of getting into an accident with them. And then again, that just snowballs from there, okay? So be safe out there. Slow it down. You know, back her off from the crazies, okay? Just drive responsibly. Drive like a professional driver, okay? The other reason why we follow safety protocols or we follow a safety system is, if we don't, and the FMCSA comes in and wants to do an audit or something like that, like I said, things can spiral out of control very quickly. Or let's just say this. Okay, so we had this issue come up this week. This scenario played out in real life. We had a driver that was running low on hours. He called in, and the operations, I'm not saying who, not throwing any blame out there, but someone in operations said, just drive on an exemption. Okay, we have that 16-hour or the adverse weather driving exemption. Said put it on that and keep it on going. When it comes to that exemption, that just means you get 2 extra hours of drive time, and you need to be in extreme weather or unforeseen circumstances that cause you to stop or lose time. Okay, it can't be, oh, it's kind of rainy or kind of muggy or foggy out or something like that. No. That really doesn't, or it's 4:30 and you're in Dallas or Houston, like, I'm sitting in traffic. Who knew? Everybody knew, okay? But if you're like caught in a snowstorm or caught in like a torrential downpour and it causes you to slow down, then yes, you can use that adverse weather exemption and get yourself 2 extra hours of drive time to make up for the lost drive time that you had. But that's only 2 hours, okay? And if you run out of the weather, you have to get off of that. So, if it only takes 45 minutes, you're back up to speed, you got to get out of it, okay? You can't just keep riding in it. But go back to the scenario, running low on time, you said just put it into the 16-hour exemption and go. Well, they went well past the extra 2 hours that they could. And when I finally saw that and talked to him and said, you got to pull over here, man. The problem is with something like that, if that driver were to get into an accident and, God forbid, kills somebody, a lawyer that barely graduated law school would be able to come back to the company and just take us for all we got. Okay, that's not a hard lawsuit at all. Okay, you can easily prove that driver was driving when they shouldn't have been driving. Therefore, if they weren't driving, then that crash would have never happened. The client would have been alive. You see what I'm going with this? So we have to be extremely careful with how we run the operations in this, because if we're knowingly or quite frankly unknowingly, ignorance is bliss is not in the trucking industry. You have to know what you're talking about, okay? If you say, I didn't know you couldn't do that, FMCSA does not care, okay? They'll just say, you should have known. So if we're knowingly telling guys to do stuff that and something happens when they do that, we are in massive trouble. And not just like, oh, well, the company's in big trouble. No. You could be in massive trouble, okay? Because if there's emails or any communication that says, yeah, just keep on driving, we got to get that load there by all means, and if something happens, you could be in big trouble with the law, to be quite frank, to be frank, okay? I'm not trying to scare anybody here. I'm just saying what has happened. Like, there are owners of trucking companies that are sitting in jail right now. There are safety people, there are operations people, there are drivers that are sitting in jail right now because they chose to ignore the safety piece of it and just do what they needed to do. Okay, oops, didn't mean to shake the camera there. So that's why we got to really follow safety protocol. If you have questions about, hey, can we do this? Can we not do this? Contact me. Okay, this is why I'm here, is to make sure that everyone runs safely and everyone runs legally. Okay, that's why I'm here. So if you're like, hey, I think we can do this, but let me double check with Sam real quick, shoot me a message, shoot me a text, call me, whatever. Again, this is why I'm here. So now, as drivers know, typically we'll watch some dash cam, but we're not going to do that because this video has already gone on too long. But keep an eye this week because I am going to be putting something out there called What's Wrong with This Picture? And there's a couple pictures that I've got from drivers that were doing pre-trips, and there's some issues with that. And so I just kind of want to refresh you guys on that and see if you can figure out what exactly is wrong with the picture I'm showing you. So we're going to watch that this week. Not in this video, but we'll probably do it midweek. And, I forgot to lead off with this, guys, but hey, have a great Driver Appreciation Week. I know I can speak for everybody in the office when I appreciate you guys, okay? I really do. I like talking to you. I like helping you out. I'm in safety. The thing I love doing about safety is helping you guys to understand what you need to do, okay? Sometimes we have to have a serious conversation, but I really do appreciate the fact that when we do have that, you guys really take that to heart. And you're listening and you're understanding where I'm coming from. It's never coming from a place of anger. It's always coming from, hey, let me help you so that you can continue on and have a good career, okay? And I really do appreciate that about everybody, all the drivers on the fleet. I've yet to have one that really has pushed back on anything and said, you're wrong, you're an idiot. Maybe you have in the privacy of your truck, but I can't help that. So anyways, guys, I really do appreciate you. I know the rest of the staff really appreciates you. Keep doing what you're doing out there. If you have questions about safety, let me know. I want to make sure that we're all in this together, that we all understand what we're doing. And I say it at the end of every video because I absolutely mean it. Make sure that when you are out there that you drive safe.